Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of RaceSpotTV Friday Primetime. The Touring Car Challenge heads into its penultimate round here at Oulton Park. We are all set, ready, and raring to go for another Friday night of competition. My name is, of course, Connery Medic, and as ever, I'm joined by the absolutely wonderful Stefan Schlacker for today here at this iconic British circuit. We're here again, Stefan, here in the commentary booth for a Friday night primetime event, and, well, I wonder what's in store for us here today.
Yeah, it most definitely will be one of the more exciting racetracks that we have seen all season long. But most definitely we have been treated with quite some exciting racing throughout this season already. So the last two races on our hands, and I can't wait to see the island circuit in full swing.
Yeah, I can't wait either. Here's how the season has stacked up so far, and well, we had a pretty intriguing affair last time out at Donington. We remain inside of the UK here for the Oulton Park Island circuit, a little bit of a shortened version compared to the full circuit, of course, but still should give us a whole bunch of fun. It's very, well, it's got a lot of touring car pedigree, this track, and, well, we do have a touring car competitor in the real world touring. Maybe not in these exact touring cars, in the TCRs, but we do have Ashley Sutton from Touring Car fame joining us here today as well. So it's good to see those real-life drivers continuing to take part. I know Ashley's been on iRacing for a very, very, very long time, so it's not exactly new to him, but it's always great to see everyone get stuck in.
Yeah, Ashley Sutton, one of the older members on iRacing, if I recall correctly, so he most definitely isn't a stranger to this track on the iRacing circuit as well. And to be fair, he is also very well known about the old park layout, obviously because of his BTCC experience. So should be highly interesting how he will fare in today's racing action.
Absolutely. We've got ourselves a qualifying going on out there for the moment. Let's pull up the amount of time left here in this session. We've got around about 3 minutes left to run here in qualifying, so not a huge amount whatsoever at the moment. It is Kira Wolf that's on pole position at the moment here in qualifying, and well, it's going to be a bit of a shuffle all the way back there as drivers try to figure out exactly where they are here in qualifying, and well, it is a 127.689 that's currently top of the pile with regards to that qualifying, but of course that can change with the final 3 minutes that we have to run.
Yeah, currently it is a Hyundai on the pole position ahead of, I think that is 2 Audis in George Baldi and Arecopa Lopez. And then we have another Hyundai with Ashley Sutton on board. So very, very intriguing top 4 position. We're expecting all 3 manufacturers to be within about 2 to 3/10 of each other. If somebody has chosen the Honda, they even shouldn't be too far off the pace. Although the Honda really doesn't like a track like Oulton Park.
Yeah, absolutely. As we'll continue to see these cars roll their way around. Kira Wolf still very much top of the order. Here's Arecopa Lopez heading his way through and around at the moment, and we'll see what sort of lap time he's able to set coming up across the timing beam right now. But well, he'll just about be able to get that lap in, and then we're finished up here in terms of qualifying. So now we can get ourselves the starting grid. Well, we can have a look at the starting grid for today's event, and well, it stacks up just a little bit like this. It is Kira Wolf on pole position with Jojo Baldi P2, Arecopa Lopez P3, with Ashley Sutton P4, Tommy Holman in P5 with James Holman in P6 to start here today. Joseph Figueroa in P7 with Martin Hobson in P8. Neil in P9 with Dylan Freckleton P10. Rylan Shelton P11 with Emmett Savage in P12. Then you got Nikolai Pedersen and David Onazol in P14, 13, 14 respectively. Alex Seria in P15 with Sam White P16. Christian Wasi and Steve McLean will round out the top 18 cars. Then the 17th car on the starting grid will be Marcus Kajak. So we can run through the starting grid as quickly as possible, because these guys do indeed have the tendency to get themselves to the starting grid rather quickly here, Stefan, and it seems to be the case here today as well. We're about to get going. We're about to get racing here at Oulton Park for the penultimate round of the season. We get the signal to go now. Here we are on our way down in towards turn number 1. Kira Wolf on pole position, of course, will be challenged by Jojo Baldi down in towards Old Hall Corner for the first time. Jojo Baldi getting himself very aggressive, and Kira Wolf has gone themselves out onto the grass. There's door rubbing already here at Oulton Park as they go down in towards Cascades for the first time. Kira Wolf trying to fight that race lead back on the inside as Jojo Baldi has to use the exit curb, and now it's the run down in towards that hairpin. That cut through on this circuit that makes this island circuit what it is. Another little bit of a door barge coming down in towards the hairpin as Ponty gets and Lopez all get themselves into each other. It is Wolf that leads though, at least early on here.
Yeah, great start by Baldi, but sadly it didn't quite work out for him to take over the lead. Only had it for a few centimeters after turn 1, and then the door banging between Lopez and Giorgio Baldi. Great stuff already starting out this lap. But the Audi drivers most definitely stalking now the rear of the Hyundai ahead of them. What can Kira Wolf throw at them defensively?
Yeah, absolutely. That was a fantastic battle here on the race start, but he'll have to continue on here, perhaps for another 14 minutes, as these drivers are heading their way to complete this first lap. And, well, Wolf still holding on for now, but this is going to be a very, very spicy affair if those guys behind decide to challenge as we head ourselves, well, out to the final corner, across that undulating start-finish line, which is a pretty famous element of this Oulton Park racing circuit, and into Old Hall Corner for the second time in this event as Kira Wolf attempts to break away from the pack. So it was an action-packed first lap here at Oulton Park. Everyone pretty much single file though for the start of this second lap. We got a good grouping here for P8 and the back with Martin Hobson, El Neal. We've got Dylan Freckleton and Emmett Savage all the way back there as well. But things a little calm here in the mid-pack as well. They all close up on the brakes into the hairpin. That's to be expected. It is one of your overtaking opportunities at this circuit.
Yeah, that P8, number 8 machine right now, that is also your fastest Honda right now in the field. Martin Hobson defending that quite nicely from the start, had a little bit of a kerfuffle right ahead of him, was able to jump on that opportunity, but still a good start for the Honda, especially because he is right in the middle of the pack.
This is, well, things coming down relatively quickly here, but that will certainly not be the theme over the course of the race. That's at least what we've seen here in these races in the Touring Car Challenge. Things calm down a little bit for the middle of the race, but once we get towards the end, the elbows start to come out just a little bit more. But 12 minutes to go as we head our way across the line now. Kira Wolf is doing a very good job at trying to secure a little bit of a buffer to those cars behind. Jojo Baldi about half a second off of the race leader at the moment, so that might become a little bit of an issue for those guys in behind if they start to lose touch of Kira Wolf. That's a little bit too quickly. But look at this, already lapped traffic coming into effect here, Stefan. As someone has had problems early on, that's Ryan Shelton. That gets a lap put on them, I believe.
Yeah, Ryan Shelton, the number 14 car in 19th place. We still have all cars racing around, but the 14 had to come in for unscheduled pit stop just that last lap. So, oh, a little bit of a door bang between Shelton and Sutton.
Yeah, so Shelton being shoved out the way. Careful, he has to abort across the chicane. Dramas as a lapped car, I suppose, here in that one. There was a bit of, oh no! Someone's aborted the chicane and gone straight into another driver. I think that's Freckleton going, taking the shortcut and just collecting Savage.
Yeah, but I have a feeling that wasn't also an undoing by Freckleton. I have to look at the replay to see exactly what happened between the 9 and the 16. They're entering Hislops. Let's have a look here. So Freckleton on the outside here gets a push from the Hyundai and then obviously cuts back across and right into the nose. Steering wheel broken for Savage right there and then.
Looks a little bit sketchy there with regards to the intent, but we'll just leave it at that. As we will return back to the live pictures then. The current state of the race, Wolf still leads. Gap has come down for the race lead though. Baldy is putting down some good lap times, of course, in the very slight amount of the slipstream that these cars produce. So it's still poised to potentially make a move here at some point in this race. Closes up on the brakes into the hairpin. Great amount of time gained there as they head their way onto the back straight now. As across Hilltop and then down in towards the Hislops chicane, and then afterwards that fast right-hander of Nickelbrook. But this is through Hislops there. Be careful of those tyre barriers on those apexes there. You can very, very easily clip one of those.
Yeah, they are still from 2009, and that means they are not negotiable. Basically saying, if you hit them, you are gonna blow your engine.
You are. They basically should be treated like solid walls for all intents and purposes. So yeah, you do have to be very, very careful when you're trying to negotiate yourself through that section. Let's have a look towards the very back of the order, because I think Savage has come down on towards the pit lane to get some damage repaired. Looks like they'll be coming off for the pit lane in relatively short order. But at least with the racing that's going on out there right now, things still relatively calm for touring car racing action. The lap car trying to get itself out of the way there, I believe. Potentially might have been...
Yeah, that was Savage.
Yeah, that was Savage.
That was Savage.
There we go. We can always rely on you to pick up these things, Stefan. But these front three cars now have really broken away from the rest of the pack, haven't they? So the podium runners all running on their own for the moment, with a second back to Sutton.
Yeah, right now it's a little bit rubber banding. We have seen the top 5 break away, then we had the lap car, and then the whole train all the way down to P12 formed again. Now we have again the top 3 breaking away from Ashley Sutton, but I'm really not sure if that is right now really the case of them breaking away, and much more like Ashley Sutton just being so occupied with the pressure that Joseph Santiago Figueroa is right now putting on the rear of that Hyundai. So might have to look for that 3 to maybe make a pass and jump onto that leaving train up ahead.
Well, let's have a look then. On board with Giorgio Baldi as we try to hunt down the race leader at the moment. Wolf, it was an almighty battle for the race lead, at least in the opening portion of this race on that first lap, but ever since then, Wolf has led the way by varying amounts, it should be said. The gaps remained rather stable though over the last couple of laps, but Wolf did have an even bigger of an advantage a little bit earlier on that's been eaten into by both Baldi and Koba Lopez. So that starts to get a little bit worrying, if you will, but we've still got 7 minutes to go left in this race, and there's been no threatening moves apart from that lap 1 problem from cars behind at the moment. So it's a bit of a struggle to see where the obvious opportunity is going to be for Baldi to be able to do anything.
Yeah, exactly. It is just that. It is an old school racing track, and you even notice that in these low power touring cars, they are just not pulling enough down a lakeside into the hairpin to really do anything on that overtake. So you really have to set up your pass through Old Hall and Cascade to really be on the rear already of Wolf, and then maybe try to stick it down the inside. But at the same time, I'm really not sure if Baldi has the guts and really has the brakes in his car to do exactly that overtake. However, if you're looking back to Figueroa and Sutton, that might be a little bit different. Sutton is faster through Old Hall and Cascades, but I have continuously seen that Figueroa is just so much more aggressive on the brakes that he can actually close up 2-3 car lengths to Sutton to maybe make a pass happen. So if we're wanting to look on a pass into the hairpin, that's probably going to be Figueroa trying something like that, because he has the braking capability over Sutton. Baldi and Wolf, I'm thinking much more of Lodge Corner or maybe Druids of something happening there.
Yeah, those might be the only options, but I think Baldi and Lopez keeping their cards relatively close to their chests at the moment. You do point out this battle for P4 between Sutton and Figueroa that might become a thing towards the very end of this race. You can see how Figueroa closes up on the brakes into the hairpin, but that's more of a dramatic visual than any massive gain in terms of the amount of time that he's been able to get up against this competitor. But still, it's single file running for the moment here in the Touring Car Challenge at Oulton Park Island Circuit. Meanwhile, near the back through the order, less single file running is Freckleton and Ozol, I believe, that were going door to door down the back straights.
Yeah, that was actually maybe a pass into the hairpin. Not exactly sure how that happened. Obviously, a lot of pictures got in a little bit aid of that action. So let's see if we actually do have a replay. That's nice. So let's see what on the replay happened. Maybe already a pass into the hairpin, a little bit far back though for Freckleton.
A little far back. Oh, it was a mistake from a nozzle ahead, a little bit on the brakes in towards the hairpin, and then trying to get power off. And
maybe it looks like a missed shift there.
Yeah, either a missed shift or lets him go, I would say, in that situation. But either way, we take further down the field that we can fester our eyes upon. But with coming into the dying moment of this race now, these races do go by relatively quickly, don't they, Stefan? It's only a 15-minute event, and we're getting towards the final four in just a handful of moments. And Kira Wolf will be thinking, okay, I've gotten myself, I guess, a little enough of a buffer to keep Moldy behind me at the moment. It's not huge, but it deters the move, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. Kira Wolf is right now doing everything right. Needs to be, is right there fast where it needs to be. So doing a perfect defensive job here around Oulton Park to keep Baldy behind and not give Baldy any opportunities or even snippets of opportunities for that first place. In behind, by the way, I've seen on our timing and scoring here that Ashley Sutton is starting to form a little bit of a train behind him, because also Tommy Halban now has closed up the gap to the top two of that train for fourth position, and he seems to be quite a little bit faster than Ashley Sutton.
Does, and well, let's see what Holman can do from this situation. He's in the number 7 car in the Hyundai. That's at the very back of this 3-car train for fourth place. So it's a 3-car train for first, it's a 3-car train for fourth, and also potentially James Holman might decide to get involved in this one as well, depending on the right set of circumstances in that bout for fourth place. So action still on the horizon, potentially, for the last couple of laps of this one. It's been a very, very calm affair, apart from that lap number 1, but there's still a lot of potential in this one, especially with cars running as closely as they are. It only takes one driver to go for the absolute send, and all of a sudden we have a race on.
Yeah, exactly. All it needs is send, and Oulton Park loves to give you those opportunities for send. So don't count out Giorgio Baldi yet for that first place. Even he could be in for a good surprise if maybe Kirill makes a slight mistake through one of these following corners.
We'll have a look at the time the next time they head their way across the start-finish line to sort of gauge laps that we'll get at this stage. Wolf continuing to do a very good job at the very front, heading their way through Druids, and then on this short little run in towards Lodge Corner, which will take them up the hill once again, and well, down the hill slightly, and then up it towards the start-finish line. There we go. I'll get my undulations right here at Oulton Park in just a few moments, but there we go. 1 minute 40 seconds-ish as they head their way across the line. So still 2 laps to go at this point.
Yeah, it's still 2 laps. A lap is about 1:28, so they have enough time to do 2 more circulations around here, but that also means that the time is ticking down for Giorgio Baldi.
It is. It really, really is. And, well, apart from lap number 1, Wolf hasn't come under any sort of threat, any sort of active threat in terms of a side-by-side battle at any point during this race. So, and again, Baldy's just not quite fast enough in the right places. He needs to try and get that drive out the hairpin to make something happen down in towards his lops, but simply didn't get it. The traction going the way of Kira Wolf, and now Baldy has to be looking in his wing mirrors a bit here, because Koba Lopez is way closer to him than he is to Wolf ahead.
Yeah, the 4 also made quite a mistake through Cascades, was way too early on the apex, turned in too early, and really got shot out wide through Cascades, even had to wait quite a long time to go back on the throttle, and we saw how the gap immediately opened to nearly over 6/10 already. So Giorgio Baldi now really has to look much more in his mirrors than he would want to, and probably now even can't anymore attack Kira Wolf at this point.
Here we go then. This is going to be the start of the final lap here of the penultimate round of the season in the Touring Car Challenge. Kira Wolf has led from the drop of the green flag, at least in terms of laps logged. There was a marginal change of the race lead on lap number 1, but nothing clear-cut. But on this final lap, Baldi not quite close enough to be able to do anything at this stage. I get the feeling without an error from Kira Wolf. I'm more interested in what happens with Adecopa Lopez behind, what happens in that battle for P4 as well between Sutton, Figueroa and all that as well, as Figueroa was flashing the lights down in towards the hairpin for the final time. Let's see if he's able to get the good drive off of the corner. We're going to keep a half an eye on the battle ahead as well, just to make sure that we can cover all bases on the way down in towards Hislop. The front 3 don't go by side. We don't get a wheel-to-wheel action for P4 either. Now we're starting to run out of opportunities a little bit here on the final lap of the event. There's the front 3 continuing to remain in their single file line for the moment. Copa Lopez will have the best chance of any of these guys at trying to draw himself alongside in towards these final couple of corners, but it'll be a big ask to try and have that happen. There was a little bit of a tease with the track limits there with the 2 tires into Adecopa Lopez, moves all over the place, looks to try and make this move happen in towards Lodge corner, tries to get the drive off the corner. There's a shunt to the back bumper. It'll have to be a drag race up across the line, but the straight's not long enough for Adecopa Lopez to be able to do anything with the run. He'll have to settle for 3rd as Kira Wolf takes yet another race win here in the Touring Car Challenge for Friday night primetime.
Yeah, great defensive driving there in the end from Giorgio Baldi to secure that 2nd place. Also a very great drive by Kira Wolf to secure, I think, the 3rd win of the season, if I counted correctly.
Yeah, you would be correct as well. So Kira Wolf's going to be happy about that one. Zenith Esports are also going to be very happy about that one too, as they get the celebrations going and hopefully get congratulated by a couple of their competitors. You can see them coming through and saying a very job well done. But with that, we'll be able to show you our official race results from Oulton Park. They look a little bit like this. Kira Wolf, not pole position, race win, but it was also the pole position here in this event, does the double. 9/10 of a second ahead of Giorgio Baldi. With Adecopa Lopez in P3 taking the final podium spot. Ashley Sutton finishes P4 today with Figueroa in P5. Tommy Holman will finish P6 with James Holman in P7 with Martin Hobson P8, El Neal in P9 and Alex Herrera in P10. Then you have a look at the second half of the field. Dylan Freckleton P11 with David Onosdal in P12. Nikolai Pedersen in P13 with Sam White in 14th with Christian Wassi in P15 with Steve McLean in P16. Emmett Savage in P17. Ryan Shelton P18 and Marcus Karjak in P19 here today for that Audi 10 laps down on the leader. So
by the way, fastest lap also shows how fast Hallman was in that battle for 4th place. I just quickly wanted to say that because he actually had the fastest lap by nearly a full 10th over Kira Wolf.
That's absolutely crazy. So maybe a little bit of a better qualifying effort next time for Tommy Holman. Maybe he'll be able to fight in amongst the front of the field with pace like that. But that's it, over and done with. We've got on ourselves our penultimate round of the Touring Car Challenge here on iRacing done. And, well, next week we'll be heading to our finale, Stefan, at Laguna Seca. We're heading back across the pond compared to here in the UK. And so we're going to finish things off at a circuit that everyone on the iRacing service knows, Laguna Seca. And, I am preparing myself for that.
Yeah, most definitely. The Laguna Seca track, it's a fitting finale for the Touring Car Series. It is known for bumping and bullying other cars around the track. So I am honestly thrilled for 1 week's time.
I am as well, and well, that's going to be all that we have time for then. For this, the Touring Car Challenge for RaceSpotTV Friday primetime. We thank you very much that you're all able to join us. My name was Connery Maddock, and that has also been Stefan Schlacker. But join us same time, same place next week, where we'll get to see the finale of the Touring Car Challenge at Laguna Seca. That is one you don't want to miss. Bye-bye.